having issues with the software. I'm going to try and check it out later. We are going to record this session and post it as soon as it's done. So if you have questions, you can post them below on the video, and then we will try and answer all of them. Today we're talking about Disney. Walt Disney here. See, I even prepared a nice banner on the bottom. We are going to start with Karen. She's going to introduce herself and start talking about, let's go with the introduction. Karen? You lost Karen? It's not a good day for a video.
What we talked about.
Let's start with Amanda, and then we'll continue.
So I am Amanda with Amanda's Travels. I've been in the industry for 7 years, so fairly a newbie, I guess, for some of you guys. But I have my own agency, and I've been earmarked, so I do have quite a bit of Disney destination knowledge. So I think the first thing that Roy was going to have me talk about is Walt Disney Company, Walt Disney World in particular. I do a lot of world and land guests. I don't have as many cruise and adventures by Disney guests, so hopefully Karen will be able to come back onto the broadcast and discuss that with you. Couple things to know. Right now, Disney World and Land are technically closed through March 31st. There have been no updates and no extensions of their closure. For World, I would want you to remind you that Orange County is under a stay-at-home advisory through April 9th. So I do think it is probably likely that we will see an extension of the closure. If you have a guest that is traveling or supposed to be traveling through the end of the month, you should have already gotten information from Disney about cancellation. If you book that reservation directly with Walt Disney Company, not Expedia, not a supplier, then that is a refundable option. They can refund it, or they can move it to a different date. You do have commission is well. There have been some things in blogs about Disney Springs and laying off the employees and how can Disney restaurants do that. So I just kind of want you to know that is some scuttlebutt out there. But know that by laying off employees in the restaurant industry, they are eligible for unemployment. So it's not like Disney is dissing those people. Those are not official Disney cast members, even though they are working on Disney Springs or in Disney themed areas, but they are not Disney owned areas. In regards to final payments and things like that, Disney has extended the deadline to 1 week prior to final payment. It's up to you whether you tell your clients this 1 week prior, or if you want to try and get them to do final payment a little bit earlier for your sanity. That's your best business practice. I will probably continue to try and get my clients to do payment at least 14 days prior, just so that I can finish buttoning together their packages. There is not a cancellation fee at this time. It has been waived. And there is also no change fee for Disney World. So if you need to change dates after final payment, it used to be a $50 change fee. At this time, that has been waived. When it comes up to guesses, these are just my guesses. They are not from Disney in any way, shape, or form, but just from my experience. I do think there will be some promotions that will come out to kind of boost Disney. If you think about Disney product in general, you're having the cruise lines, Adventures by Disney, Disneyland, Disney World, Tokyo, Shanghai, Paris are all essentially closed. So Disney does have operating costs that they're having to maintain across the board, across all their products to be able to pay their cast members. So I do think we'll see promotions to try and bring dollars in rather rapidly. I'm expecting we'll see a continuation of the summer offer, which is up to 25% off. And I think that will go through August. I also think we'll probably see some sort of offer in the fall. This is, again, Amanda's guess, not Disney's, and some offer in the fall for some limited dining or room discounts. I do think there'll be significant blackout dates because fall is a good time, and they aren't seeing a lot of, I don't think they're seeing a lot of losses of fall bookings at this point. And I do also think that for those loyal guests that have traveled in the past, we'll see an offer of pin code offer. So that meaning your guest will get a mailing directly from Disney with a special code that they can use to get a discount on that. So that is my piece on Walt Disney World. I think Karen was going to talk about Disney Cruise Line.
Before we get to Disney Cruise Line, I think according to what I'd see, I think we're live again. We are trying something. We get some hiccups with the system, so we're probably are live. I'm not seeing too many comments, but I'm seeing about 20 people on the call. So we're going to see it as it goes. If needed, we'll just post it post a video later. Karen, if you have anything to add on Disney World, Disneyland, take it from there.
So I did want to add, I was kind of cutting out and had to rejoin, so I might have missed Amanda's, some of Amanda's comments, but Disney does have on their public facing page that the Sun and Fun offer is now good for bookings made through the end of August. So that is something that they have quietly rolled out. So it's a good time for people that are still wanting to book Disney World for later in the summer that maybe missed that offer when it previously closed, to check that out, or to apply it to clients that have previously booked and did not have that offer. You can be a hero and save them a little bit of money if they're looking out for that. So that's just one thing I observed about Disney World lately.
And sorry, Karen, I forgot to say that commission is protected on packages for when Disney closed. So if you had clients that flat out canceled and did not rebook, you should be looking for that commission to come in. If they rebooked, it'll be with their new package.
Right. So, and that is if they closed, if they canceled because Disney closed, if they canceled before the closure was announced on their own, commissions are not protected and they're not backtracking that.
Right.
So I'm here to talk about Disney Cruise Line, and I'm happy to answer any questions. I do see that we're live and looks like the comments are coming in, so that's fantastic. So a few interesting things to update you all on about Disney Cruise Line. So you should know that Disney Cruise Line has canceled all cruises through April 12th at this point. So that was updated. All the days are definitely running together for me, probably for all of you also, but I think that was a couple days ago that they announced April 12th. For those clients who held out and waited for Disney to cancel their cruise, they are being rewarded with the option of a full refund, or the option to get a future cruise credit for 125% of their cruise fare. So that is a nice bonus that they can apply. And I am noticing that most of my Disney cruisers are wanting to rebook, which is a great thing. I think our Disney clients are very loyal to Disney and trust them. And so they are wanting to sail again. They don't have to decide right now. The offer is good. They can use it for 15 months past their sail date. And so they can decide, just wait and see when they want to rebook, or they can go ahead and rebook now. And it's also my understanding that if they go ahead and take the offer but then can't sail, that 100% of their original booking will be refunded. So they don't get to refund that extra 25% that was applied, but they would still be able to access that 100% down the road and get that back as a refund. The great news for travel advisors on Disney Cruise is that commissions are protected for those cruises that were canceled by Disney. And for the new cruises that are being booked, we are getting full commission. So even though that amount will roll over into the new cruise reservation, we will get full commission. So Disney is taking care of the travel advisor community there as well. In addition, you should be aware that final payments are being bumped out for certain cruises through the summer Hopefully all of you have access to DisneyTravelAgents.com where this information is listed. They've put it all into one sort of long document. I still feel like it's not the best format. I've been begging them to put out an FAQ. I think that would be so much easier just to have one document with an FAQ that's updated, but for some reason that's not really happening. But final payments have been extended by an additional 30 days for many of the summer cruises through the end of August. What's interesting for those of you that might have people with concierge level staterooms is those final payments have also been bumped out. However, the benefit of booking concierge that you get to access shoreside services and get to do your check-in above sooner than everybody else still requires you to be paid in full. So for those concierge cruisers that are looking for those perks to be able to check in sooner and access concierge to get them their Cabana reservations or their Apollo or Remy, etc., they still do need to be paid in full. And that is true for platinum and gold and silver cruisers as well. They get the extension, but they don't get the benefit of the advanced online check-in unless they are paid in full. So in terms of Alaska, I'm getting a lot of questions about that and some people that are very concerned after hearing that the Port of Vancouver has closed to cruise ships through July 1st. Disney has not announced any cancellations of their Alaska cruises or any cruises leaving out of Vancouver as of yet. My personal guess is that they're frantically negotiating with the Canadian government to see if they can get some kind of waiver or exception. If they know that they're not getting it, they're not revealing it to any of us, and they may just want to kind of slow the bleeding and not announce all the cancellations at once and wait for people to cancel on their own, which is still an option for them to get to cancel on their own and get the 100% future cruise credit. For those that have chosen to take the cancellation and get the future cruise credit of 100% before Disney Cruise is canceled, they cannot go back and request that increased future cruise credit. And that's how other cruise lines have been handling it as well. So I've been advising my clients hold out as long as possible. There's really no detriment to them to wait to cancel for Disney Cruise. So at the worst, they'll get, the same offer now or better. So I am advising really all of my clients across the board with Disney destinations, wait as long as possible. Because if they cancel before Disney, they do not have the option for a cash refund. So there's a lot of spiel there about Disney Cruise Line. Happy to take any questions. And
I would have one thing to add, Karen.
Of course.
So if you have a guest who had, and I confirmed this calling in today, if you have a guest that had booked a Disney cruise years ago, maybe they were on a sailing and did a placeholder, and then that placeholder is on one of these cruises that has been canceled, placeholder status is being reactivated, which means that they can use that for a future discount. If that guest is on a sailing that has not yet been affected and they're wanting to cancel, they will lose their placeholder status. So again, in that case, that guest usually gets 10 to 15% discount if they hold out as long as possible to see whether Disney cancels or not, especially if it's like an Alaskan sailing or something. They stand to really kind of profit by, I don't want to say profit, but increase the value of their cruise by getting 125% future cruise value or getting back their placeholder status.
Exactly. And some of that, I think, has been in flux. I'm going to have to go back and look because I am pretty sure that I did have a client that chose to cancel on her own for a March booking before Disney canceled, and they advised me that they would extend her placeholder benefit. So there's some, but that was a few weeks ago. So, their policies have been changing, which again is a nice reason I would love to see an FAQ. The other thing that I wanted to mention, they have not announced this, but We have noticed that Disney has extended deposits for new cruises after August. So it looks like it's starting for cruises starting in September. If you are booking a new cruise, typically your deposit is due in 3 days or in 1 day for concierge staterooms, but the deposits are actually being allowed for 14 days now. So that gives some people some flexibility, those that are waiting for future cruise credits to come through, etc. They can actually put something on hold for up to 14 days. And we also now have an option online through DTA to apply those future cruise credits ourselves. That's something that just went live, I believe, yesterday.
Do you guys see that is there a difference between regular cruise lines or people booking land at Disney? You said that the people maybe trust Disney more, or they're more into the brand, so they believe in it, that it's strong. Do you have future bookings? Are people calling to utilize the situation to try and get maybe a better rate, looking for deals?
Well, I think with Disneyland and World, they always know if there's a lower price, a promotion comes out, that they'll get the best deal. Cruise is different because it's based on availability, and as we know with any cruise line, the least expensive cabin in each categories tend to sell out first. So I do think there's great trust. I think people know that Disney values their reputation above all else. So they really feel like there's a great sense of trust. If Disney doesn't feel like it's safe for their guests or their cast members, that they are taking this step. And so they feel comfortable with that.
And I would add, especially for the cruise industry taking a hit as a whole, I feel like there is such a high degree of trust with Disney Cruise Line. I am still booking people on Disney Cruise Line, even through all of this. For future cruises, people are concerned that I'm hearing things like, well, everybody that canceled for this spring break is going to want to go next spring break, so I better hurry up and book that before prices go up. I haven't seen prices go up, but they're definitely, Disney cruisers have a little bit more of a sense of urgency, I think, than other cruisers, and feel very, very safe. I also had a client that was on the Disney Wonder Panama Canal. So she was the last Disney ship at sea that just came back a few days ago, and she just raved and shared that with our groups, in terms of how well they took care of their guests and their clients, and she is definitely ready to rebook. That sailing got a huge promotion because they missed some ports, and so they got a very nice incentive to rebook, but she is, her loyalty to Disney Cruise has skyrocketed after that experience.
Okay, good. Exactly. So, yeah. Go ahead, Amanda.
I've been on the Dream for the last sailing, and they announced that they were discontinuing sailings. And those guests I was messaging them, and they said, they just announced it here on the ship. Like, I literally messaged, and they had heard it just moments before, and they felt so well taken care of with hand sanitizers. And, Disney does go above board with kids' activities and safety and cleanliness. So they had no qualms. So.
Okay. Good. So again, as you heard from the Disney experts, if you have people that are considering Disney or done Disney before and maybe we're thinking of doing it again, seems like now is the time. The demand is still out there. And as long as they haven't increased the price, that kind of means for Disney that it is a discount, right? If the price is not higher, that is considered a discount. And yes, someone mentioned, Sally wrote that Disney Cruise Lines has dodged lots of bad media reports. Of course, if you compare them to the ships that are out there, Princess had issues and Norwegian now has issues. A lot of the companies have issues. Disney have been able to stay clear of the news, of the bad press for it. So we talked about the parks. We talked about Disney Cruise Line. What's next?
I can give a quick update about Adventures by Disney, which is a product that I am so in love with, and we promote quite a bit. The sad news is that Adventures by Disney, all departures have been canceled through the month of May. So We don't know. We have a lot of clients that are waiting for their Europe trips, for this summer, and we just still don't know. That also applies to the Adventures by Disney add-on packages to the Mediterranean cruises and Alaska cruises that are happening on Disney Cruise Line. For those that are impacted by a cancellation by Disney, they are reaching out individually to the guests or their travel agents and letting them know that they can receive either a full refund or they can rebook that same trip at the same price. So if they've booked, let's say Costa Rica is canceled, they can book any available date for Costa Rica at the same price that they originally booked at. If they want to book a different adventure, that is also an option. And the price will be guaranteed based on the date that they booked the adventure that was canceled. So let's say they booked Costa Rica last May 2019, and now they've decided, well, I'm not going to go to Costa Rica. I can't make those dates work, but I can make England, France work. Then whatever the price was last May for that England and France adventure is the price that they would pay for the new booking. So it's not really an incentive to rebook, but it is a sort of a price guarantee. Also, Adventures by Disney tries to make their clients whole in terms of airfare, even if it was booked independently. So if they booked air, they're being asked to try to, recoup whatever they can, whether it be in refunds or waivers. If they get a waiver, they're not refunding anything along those lines. But if they're not able to get a waiver or a refund, they will work with them to try to make them whole and reimburse those expenses for air. So I am, waiting for the world situation to turn so Adventures by Disney can get back and running.
Okay.
For Adventures by Disney, in terms of promotions, there is a special out through March 27th, up to $1,400 per family. So if you have guests that are feeling very confident about Disney and wanting to plan something for 2021, that is an option. There's also, these are for 2020 adventures though.
Right. They still have not released, they've released river cruises for 2021, Adventures by Disney River Cruising, and they've released, there's a few dates for a couple little adventures here. Well, not little, some of the large ones have a few dates in 2021 available, but their main release for the following year for 2021 usually happens in May. And so I don't expect that they would release anything earlier than May. Under the circumstances, and in fact, it may be delayed under the circumstances. We'll have to wait and see.
Perfect, thank you. Now, if people are not aware of ABD, Adventures by Disney, of course, it's a high-end product for escorted tours combined with river cruises, and they do work with AMA Waterways, right?
Yes, they charter the AMA Waterways ships for select sailings on the Danube, Rhine, and Seine, and they're just starting on the Rhone, so they'll be on 4 rivers now.
Yes, I do encourage people who are thinking of selling Disney, or maybe sell Disney once a month or once a year. If you haven't done the college of Disney, that's it. Disney College. I'm sorry.
College of Disney Knowledge.
To make sure that you do the courses. They do have some perks as well, but the main one is, of course, getting to know the product so you'll be able to help your clients. Now, there is still another Disney in the U.S. that we haven't discussed, right?
So it's Disneyland. Disneyland is closed right now. They also are saying no extension of their closure, or at least a closure extension has not yet been released. The governor of California has done a stay-at-home order, a stay-in-place order, and that does not have an end date. The governor's doesn't. The end date for the Los Angeles shelter-in-place order is April 19th. So it is likely that we will see an extension of the closure of Disneyland. But again, as Karen has said, and I've said, that we think Disney is just trying to slowly roll out these closures to kind of stop the bleeding, the financial impact at once to its stocks and everything else, and just try and place things through. If you had a guest who was headed to Disneyland during this most recent closure, commission is again protected if they had not canceled prior to the announcement of the closure. So you can reschedule guests as well. Right now, we're hearing that the Avengers Campus is still slated for opening in July. I don't know if that will still be a thing. I've heard, with shelter in place, different impacts to construction could be had. So we may see a pushback of the opening of the Avengers Campus. Currently, there is a promotion out for discounts off of room packages, up to 25%, and that does go through June, booking through the end of May, I believe. So that's kind of my summary for that.
And there's one more Disney destination in the U.S. that Roy might have been thinking about as well, and that is Disney's Aulani, a Disney Resort and Spa is the way we're supposed to say it. Aulani, a Disney Resort and Spa. Aulani. Aulani is currently closed as well, currently only through March 31st. I expect that also to be extended, given that Hawaii has asked nobody to come for 30 days, very sadly. So again, I think we're just going to have to wait for these trickle out announcements. I keep a little RSS feeder in the top of my browser and check it like every 10 minutes to see what the latest Disney travel agent news is. And there hasn't been really any updates in a while, but I keep checking to see what's going to be announced for all of the different destinations.
Yeah, so I have nothing else to really add to Aulani. I think there are some discounts for the fall. It looks like 30% off of villas for Disney Visa card members, of course, your high affinity Disney clients, if they book by May 29th.
I would highly recommend for people to check to see what the government of Hawaii is doing. Of course, right now, because it's an island and they can contain, they're not allowing pretty much anyone to come in. I've heard that the restrictions are pretty bad. If you leave the hotel, if you leave, you're going to be fined about $5,000. So right now, no one coming in to Hawaii. Hopefully, it will change, but I don't think it is going to change anytime soon. When you have a very small island, even in the Caribbean, they're not suited to treat something like this. So they would want to avoid as much as possible having people come in and possibly with the virus.
Right, and of course the governor of Hawaii has extended that closure through April 30th. So it's likely we will see a full month of closure. If not, then that governor extending it as well.
I see. Amanda, do you see that last question there about?
Yeah, I do. So I'm sorry if we had some technical difficulties. So if you missed the Walt Disney World piece, certainly you can play that again. But in terms of extending closures, I feel that is likely. Universal has extended through April 19th, and we'll talk about Universal here in a second. But I do think there will be an extension of the closure. So it's better for your clients to hold tight and let Disney do their thing, because they'll be made whole. Instead of if you cancel now, you may not be made as whole. You may still have some penalties. So we're just playing that game of chicken over and over every day. So
yeah. Similar with the rest of the
Right.
supplier and the rest of what's going on in the world. Again, normally, as you've mentioned, Amanda, when we talk about the parks, when you talk about Disney, you have a lot of clients that are considering Universal as well, maybe combined, maybe separate. Is Universal doing about the same as Disney? What's any specific changes, updates?
Yeah, so Universal is doing the same as Disney. Yesterday, I think it was, as though the days are rolling together for all of us. they announced closure through April 19th of both Universal Orlando and Universal Hollywood. So all theme parks, all hotels, and all restaurants or anything in the City Walk areas will be closed. They are protecting commissions on their closures, and that does include single day tickets as well. Now, if you have a guest who has a single day ticket, when I called and verified their updates, because their travel agent portal is not full of information like Disney's, they said you need to cancel tickets by April 15th for a full refund. They indicated that if you had air on the booking, if you went into Vax and made your booking for Orlando and had air, or for your Hollywood package, that you need to call in to make that cancellation of the booking. It won't automatically cancel. They are not extending final payment deadlines at this time. So if you have a guest that's traveling in May or June, they still fall under the normal final payment procedures. So be aware of that. And then in regards to single day tickets, because I have a lot of guests that will go to Disney World for stay there and then go over for a day to Universal. For single day tickets, what I was told is if it's a guest past that day, they can cancel by April 15th and get a full refund, or you can wait to see what happens, and then they are able to move dates. Though they are not necessarily able to move ticket dates into 2021, they have not fully released the ticket-only parameters for Universal. I did have a guest who was booked for this summer and needed to see about moving to next summer. And in terms of packages, I was able to do that over the phone and get pricing and give them the information. So packages seem to be released, but single-day tickets, not yet.
So Amanda, if you bought a single day ticket, does that mean that you had to pick a specific date? It's not
right.
An open ticket?
So, yeah, typically when I'm doing my clients' Disney's vacations, we're, having this day is at this park. Disney is kind of like a baby schedule. You feed them at this time, they change their diaper at this time, and that's kind of how Disney is. So we know what day they're going to what park, and scheduling their fast passes and all that. So we know easily what day they're going to Universal and pick that specific date for the ticket. Prices vary on dates and different seasons. It's not inexpensive to go to Universal. It's usually close to $900 for a family of 4 for a single day to do park-to-park tickets. So it's a considerable financial commitment.
Okay, so they're offering either a full refund or they're going to allow you to change the date.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything to add? Do you sell Universal, Karen?
I do. But I think that was well covered. So
Thanks.
Okay. Okay, someone's asking a question. If you have a package with a one-day ticket, the ticket is still valid, though the rest of the year. I read that earlier this week. Is that true? I think we covered it, right?
Yeah, it should still be true because they're moving. If they're doing a package that had a hotel stay, it would fall with whatever they rescheduled their hotel stay for.
Okay. Good. Okay, so I think we went through all of it. Unfortunately, we missed some. I don't know if we missed some at the beginning. I'll have to see the video. We've had some technical difficulty at the beginning. We actually thought that we're going to just record this and post it later. So I haven't done the housekeeping and introduction. I'm not going to do it right now. I'm going to do another separate video just for we'll call it the housekeeping. So if people are not into Disney, they won't wait until the end of the video to listen to it. Right. I wanted to thank my guests that gave their time and stood by me for half an hour while I was trying to make this thing work. So thank you, Amanda, and thank you, Karen, for your time, for your knowledge. I don't know how you guys do that because I sell Disney, but not so much. And it takes a unique
special breed.
Yes, definitely.
We're all in this together, and I'm sure that we're happy to answer any questions. Just in the group, if anybody has additional questions that come up after they've, for people that tune in later and see it, we'll be available.
Yes, because there are certain products that I rely on the rest of you to know that I don't have maybe as big of a knowledge of a certain cruise line or something. And so I really appreciate the feedback that this group provides.
Wonderful. So thank you again. Thank you everyone who came online. I will check to see what's going on, and I will try and do another video myself for housekeeping, what's going on tomorrow, and possibly the rest of the week. And that's pretty much it. We'll meet tomorrow. Again, I'm going to post, but there is a session tomorrow at 11 a.m. and it's going to be with ALG, Apple Leisure Group, our first supplier Facebook Live. Hopefully everything will work great there, and we'll see everyone tomorrow. Thank you again,
Yeah.
and goodbye.
Thank you.